2 goals in 11 seconds. That's the intro. On second thought, why don't we make the intro 2 goals in 11 seconds? I don't believe it.
The Florida Panthers have won the Stanley Cup.
Let's go Panthers! Let's go Panthers! Let's go Panthers! Let's go! Go!
Puck drop. And 3, 2, 1,
Let's go Panthers! Let's go Panthers! Let's go Panthers! Let's go! Go!
All right, Panther fans, here we go. Come on. That's better. Ooh, I felt that one. That reverberated. So, Game 4, Panthers, Lightning. Let's just hope that the boys have more energy than I do right now. I'm not saying I don't have energy. It just feels like 5 minutes ago we were going through the stress of Game 7 and the whole playoff run. And it's exciting, but it's also stressful. And we got off to the 2-0 start and everything. I mean, it was 2 completely different games, but perfect nonetheless. We had the rout, and then we basically beat them 1-0. And then Game 3 happened, and that makes everybody want to vomit. And then, of course, Paul Maurice did Paul Maurice things, and I'm not going to get into the argument of whether it was the right move or the wrong move. Mackie Samoskevich is out. Greer is in. There's a lot of different moves I would have made. I understand the arguments people have for taking him off the ice. I personally would have liked to see things handled differently in Game 3, maybe giving him a better opportunity, maybe on line 3. Give him some opportunity other than being taken out of the lineup to the 4th line after we just pitched a shutout. Not a fan, but I do like Greer back on the ice, so there's that. So maybe Jesper Boqvist, I mean, how much do we have to bitch about the guy? I've been saying he hasn't scored a goal since January 25th. It feels like for almost 2 months now. And it's a month since then. I mean, how much do we have to complain about this guy? Put the puck in the back of the net, dude. And I could say the same thing about Verhaeghe. And I could say the same thing. I think Reinhardt already has one, so I can't really complain about him too much. But where's Swaggy? Where's the dude we paid all the money to be the big playoff performer? Hello? Crickets. And then there's Anton Lundell, Luosterainen, and Marchand, who Marchand is doing what we brought him here to do. Maybe start passing the puck to Lundell instead of Luosterainen. We need to get pucks in behind Vasilevsky. We need people in front of him and pucks behind him. We've got 2 goals in 2 games. And unless we plan on winning all games 1-0, you can do the math. So Chucky was not suspended. He didn't have any further discipline. Hagel is back in. I don't know if there's any other Tampa Bay lineup changes. What are we going to see out there on the ice tonight? Well, if I was Chucky, I would keep my head up now. You know, I'm not a fan. Remember, he is the one that rocked Eichel, and then Kolazar broke Chucky. You see what I'm saying? So now, I don't think that the teams are going to think this was a fair trade Barkov hit for the Gensel hit. I think you're going to see more things coming. So Chucky needs to watch out. Play our game. I don't know what the hell happened. We played 10, 15 minutes of normal Panther hockey. We looked just fine. And then we just fell asleep on the ice. It was 2 o'clock. It was nappy time. I don't know what the hell happened with these guys, but we need to see the real team tonight because 3-1 or 2-2 could be everything in this series. Right now, if you win this game, you've got a 3-1 lead, and you've got 3 chances, right? 5, 6, 7. You've got 3 chances to win 1 game, and only one of them is at home, right? So you need to take back the home ice, so to speak, in this one and put Tampa under the gun, because I kind of get a feeling like whether we win or lose this game, we might lose to them in Tampa, and if we lose tonight and we lose in Tampa, excuse me, but it's not good. So I want to see this team play the way they did, especially in Game 2. I know Game 1 was kind of an aberration. Game 2 is what we need to see out of them with just a little bit more action in front of Vasilevsky. We had to put the puck in the back of the net, and Bubba. Now, not that it was his fault, but Bubba in the last game, you know, He had the one where he kind of mishandled. No, that was the other game. He didn't mishandle anything. Game 3 was the one where he almost let the clear from the power play just go right through him. Well, it did go right through him. It just didn't go into the net. Which that would have been bad. It really would have been bad. But it didn't happen. So, exactly. That's exactly how I feel about this game. It's just kind of like Tom Hanks in League of Their Own. It's just like, you know, I know we've won the cup, and I know that we won the conference 2 times in a row, and you can't win all the games I know all of that, but play well. Play well. If you lose 3-2 because Vasilevsky makes 50 saves, we can live with that. But that garbage we put on the ice the other day on Saturday, we see that again, you might start seeing flames by the end of the second period. All right, Panthers, do the right thing. All right, so no score after 1. Shots are tied at 6. Each team had a power play where the PK was completely perfect. There's no hitting. Nobody looks like they can skate. I mean that in a complimentary way. What you're seeing is 2 teams playing basically perfect defense for the most part with a couple chances either way, and the goalies doing what they do. This could be over in 5, or it could be over in the 4th overtime of Game 7. It's just going to be who gets the deflections and the lucky bounces. I'm not seeing the Panthers doing anything different on offense that makes me think they're going to suddenly score 5 again. We've allowed a couple of turnovers early in the game. Luostarinen had a chance, couldn't pull the trigger. He then did draw a penalty. Power play looked terrible. Rodriguez is in Samoskiewicz's spot, and he's lost the puck along the boards at least 3 times by my count so far. So that's pretty much even Steven with what Mackey would have been doing. And it's just 2 good teams doing what they do, which makes for very stressful hockey. Let's move on to the second period. It's 2-1 Tampa after 2. Last year, Game 3 of the Eastern Conference Finals against the Rangers. Some of you know what I'm going to say. We had lost to the Rangers in Game 2 in overtime, and we had just played a absolutely disgusting second period, and it looked like we were going to lose that game as well, which we eventually did in overtime. But in the second intermission period segment, this one here after the second, I let loose with all the aggravation and anger and frustration I had, not just with the team, but with the fact that Ellie, my one dog, had just died a month earlier, and Fluffy was in the middle of dying during that series, so he died after the cup. But I took it all out. And this team doesn't want it like Tampa wants it. You've seen it. You've seen Cooper. You've seen it on the bench there with Cooper. Tampa wants this way more than we do. Now, I know that there's a lot of people who are going to say we're the champs, we're tired, and we're not playing all that bad, etc., etc., etc. And I'm not going to make any comment on what I feel about those comments because we might still come back and win this game. But we're playing this like regular season game. Now, Game 1 was an aberration. Nobody was right. Nobody played right. Game 1 was an aberration. Game 2, we looked about as good as we can look. And since then, with the exception of a few minutes here or there, we've pretty much looked like what we've done in the regular season, which is we come out, we look pretty good, and if we get a 1-goal lead, we give it up immediately, over and over and over and over, and the entire regular season. And we're doing the exact same things. Too many giveaways. We're losing draws. All of a sudden, there's breakaways into the zone. We can play this perfectly structured defense, but then at times it goes from perfectly structured to absolutely manic. Forsling, since Ekblad has been back, just can't play hockey anymore. Interesting how that might be. And the move to take Samoskevich off the ice certainly isn't paying any dividends. But those are just minor little things. This is a team thing. Barkov is pretty much invisible. Reinhart is invisible. Verhaeghe is invisible. Bennett is out there. Tkachuk is giving us what he's got. Lundell, Lusteron, and Marchand are playing pretty well. Lundell's got the goal. And the fourth line is not Stenlund with Lorentz and Lomberg or any of the guys that we had last year, where we had confidence that every once in a while we would get a fourth line goal. So, what I said at the end of that intermission segment at the Eastern Conference Finals last year was, after about 10 minutes of absolute expletive, I can't say the word, after about 10 minutes of cursing, and I mean it's rough. If you want to see somebody have an absolute meltdown, go back and watch last year's Game 3 recap, the second period intermission segment. I lost my mind. But at the end of it, I said, now, who knows? Maybe we come back and we get this game to overtime. Maybe we even win in overtime, which we didn't. We lost in overtime, but we eventually won the series. Does anybody feel like this is going to be any different? This is a repeat of the last game. This is a repeat of Game 3. And I'm not going to sit here and say I've given up. And I still feel like if we can put our heads out of our ass and win this series, that this team could have the potential to repeat again. But right now they don't want it enough. They don't want it enough. And it's abundantly clear on the ice. We're more talented than Tampa from top to bottom. Not saying every position, but as a team, we're more talented. But Tampa's playing more like a team, and we're not. We're not. Not on offense. Maurice has dialed down the offense to such an extraordinarily stupid level that we're one period away from scoring one goal in 3 playoff games in a row, and you can kiss it all goodnight if that continues. Now, whether or not he puts the line blender in together, I don't know. Put Marchand with Tkachuk put Marchand with Tkachuk and Bennett. Put Marchand with Rodriguez and do something, because Reinhardt's not doing anything. Verhaeghe is what he's been all season. It's the same player. He's laying some hits, but he can't put the puck in the back of the net. None of them can. None of them can. And what's amazing is the bottom 2 D pairs are fine, and Ekblad and Forsling look like a bunch of drunken gazelles that have never played hockey before together. Why? Because the dude missed all that time at the end of the year, and because he's Ekblad, Maurice, and some people just insist that, oh my God, it's a no-brainer that you put him back out there, except look at the freaking results. Now, I don't think it was his fault necessarily on the first one, but he was there with 4. It's as a pair. I'm not even blaming Ekblad specifically. This team was playing like a well-oiled machine. Ekblad came back. He moved Samoskevich, and we've looked like dog shit ever since. And you can say it isn't or is. It doesn't matter what the specifics are. You took the energy that was working, you changed it, and now it's not working. That's how I view this. Said, maybe we'll get this sucker to overtime and win it. Maybe we'll win in regulation, or maybe we'll lose 5-1 again. Either way, if they don't show that they want it, it's going to be over in 5, 6, whatever it is. It's going to be over if we don't decide that we want this more than Tampa. And see how this goes. I don't know about you, but I never doubted. Not for a second. 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's 3. Oh my God. Oh my, don't knock the championship down, champs. Don't knock the sign down, Jaws. So, did I bitch about Ekblad enough? You're welcome. Not only did, I mean, look. Breathe. Let's focus. Let's focus here. It's a 3-1 series lead. It's a beautiful thing. We were about 4 minutes away from only scoring 1 goal in 3 straight games. Ekblad had already gotten one. It was way offsides, unfortunately. I mean, some of us knew, like, I didn't even celebrate because it was obvious on TV that the refs just missed it. And I was sitting there bitching. I'm like, this is going to suck if we score. You knew we were going to score, of course. And so that gets called back, and time just keeps on ticking and ticking and ticking and ticking down. And then all of a sudden, Ekblad's got the loose puck in front of the net, and he took his time and beat Vasilevsky. The game's tied. And then 10 seconds later, Seth Jones somehow gets one to dribble past Vasilevsky with Marchand right there ready to put the rebound in if it didn't. And then Verhaeghe gets an empty net goal, and we win the game. We were this close, not only 2-2. Okay, not only were we this close to the series being 2-2, but now there have been 3 straight games with only 1 goal scored, and it was looking ugly. It was looking kind of weak. Not like we were playing terrible, but it just looked like they were out of gas. They might have been out of gas, but they weren't out of magic. We put Sasha up, we put the rally caps on, and bam! Holy crap. So I'm going to keep bitching about Ekblad. I'm going to keep bitching about it. All right? That's all there is to it. That's just how we do things around here. I still wouldn't have taken Sam Miskevich off the ice, but that's a different story. All right, so what did we see? Holy crap. Okay, I'm going to be realistic. I'm going to be positive, but also want to be realistic. Now, Tampa is obviously playing like they know if they beat us, they can win a cup. I believe that that's how they feel. And I really can't blame them for that. So they're kind of playing the exact same style against us. So while on one hand, I'm bitching and complaining we can't score, we can't get shots, nothing's happening. That's how the other teams feel every time we play defensively the way we can. And other teams are like, why do we suck tonight? Well, it's because when teams play good defense and get magnificent goaltending in the playoffs, it sucks. So going down the lines, Barkov, Reinhart, Verhaeghe. I'm not going to bitch about Verhaeghe for now because she's been playing a good complete game with the exception of not putting the puck in the back of the net. You can't convince me that Barkov is right. He was better tonight, but he still doesn't look anything like what he was before taking that hit. Reinhart looks like a guy that's played 185 games this year. He's out there. He's not costing us anything, but he's just not really playing like at the level that we would expect. Wow, who scored, Kyle?
The Stars scored 9 seconds into the game.
Okay, so he's watching Dallas and Colorado, and I guess Dallas just scored 9 seconds into the game. It's live TV. So, second line. Rodriguez lost the puck a lot and got bullied along the boards, which I thought that's why we took Sam Miskevich out. So, there's that. Bennett looks really good. Tkachuk has looked better each game. He didn't get any goals tonight. He only had a couple shots, but his skating has looked a little bit better, so I'm encouraged that way. Right before we got the goal, when Ekblad came and got the goal, the game-tying goal, I was asking for the rat line. I was like, put Marchand in the top 6 somewhere because he's playing so damn well. So second line, no real complaints. I'm kind of being sarcastic about Rodriguez, but it is what it is. Third line, what did I say? What have I been saying? I said, Marchand, stop passing it to Luostarinen. Give Lundell a chance. As soon as he does that, Lundell, Wakata, back of the net, right? We scored the first goal again tonight. I think I broke my finger clapping. So, that line, third line, has been playing really, really well. Luostarinen had another chance, drew a penalty. Everything is fine. Marchand has been a really good addition to those guys, and I know it's never going to happen, and I know we don't have the money to do it. But if Marchand wanted to stay, and we could somehow convince him to take peanuts to stay, I'd love to see him on that third line with those 2 kids next year because he does raise their level of play. Fourth line, there's 3 guys out there skating around. That's what I can say about the fourth line. They don't do a whole lot. We're killing penalties, but we're really not going to get a lot of goals from that fourth line. There's no Lomberg out there. There's no Cousins out there. There's no Lorentz out there. Sturm has been really good for what we've needed him for, except the face-offs haven't been great. I don't know what the numbers were tonight. The face-offs were so bad in Game 3, it couldn't be worse. Lundell, I'm not making this up, by the way. For those of you that come to the noon streams, you know what I'm about to say. In Game 3, Lundell was 18% in the faceoff circle. I'm not making that up. It's not an exaggeration. He was 18%. So it had to be better tonight. Defensively, we'll start from the bottom. The question I have about the defenses are Mikkola and Ekblad both going to be suspended? That's the question I have. So Mikkola is definitely getting fined. I would suspect that if either one of them are going to get suspended, I would suspect it would be Mikkola getting suspended. That was both ugly and stupid. That was unnecessary. Now, what Ekblad did, I want to see a replay of it, a close-up. I can't tell where his elbow hit. I'm not saying he didn't hit him here. Did he hit him like, was it like here or was it here? Makes a difference. But I would hope neither one gets suspended, but I'd be shocked if, I don't think they're going to suspend them both, but I wouldn't be shocked if one of them is suspended. But we survived out there tonight, so Belinskas would draw in, and we'll talk about what the pairs would be pending that. Schmidt looked fine out there. Kulikov looked good. Ekblad Forsling. So, I know Ekblad got 2 goals. One of them called back. Ekblad tied the game. Fantastic. All of that. It's still not right. Okay? When Ekblad and Forsling are not playing as well as they should, it almost looks like they have communication problems, or maybe they can't figure out which one is going to pinch for offense. You notice there in the third period a little bit, Forsling was pinching for offense as well, which I love to see. But for whatever reason, like you don't see this with any of the other 2 pairs, in my opinion, unless you get like Bornfoot on the ice. But when Ekblad and Forsling are not perfect, it can get bad because you start seeing, especially Ekblad, like scrambling to get back into position. Now, maybe that's a product of them playing against the top pairs, the top lines. Maybe that's part of it. But it gets real dicey. It gets a little stressful. Now, normally, when they're playing right, Forsling is just a brick wall, right? And Ekblad, we just put a taser. See, this is what we do with Ekblad. For those of you that don't know, normally what we do with Ekblad is we just get a leash and we tie him to our net, and if he goes past the blue line, we just tase him so that he doesn't. But tonight, playoffs, we needed a goal, so we'll allow him to do that for tonight. So hopefully they just continue to get better, right? The 2 goals in 11 seconds was ugly. The second one, we keep losing draws. Right, I don't know what Barkov's numbers were tonight. I don't know what Bennett was. I don't know what anybody's numbers were. But it just feels like we're losing more draws than we normally do. But Tampa's really good. So, if Ekblad is out, if Ekblad's out, you're going to go back to Forsling, Jones, Mikkola, Kulikov, Schmidt, Belinskas. If Mikkola is out, you're going to stay Forsling, Ekblad. You're going to go Jones with Kulikov, and then you're going to go Schmidt with Belinskas. I would believe that's the way it's going to go. I don't think, well, maybe you'd want to put Kulikov on the bottom with Belinskas and put Schmidt in the second pair. We'll see. If I had to guess, I think Mikkola would get suspended and not Ekblad. That would be my guess. What are we going to see the next game? Because this is one of those playoff series where it's so damn dead close, and yet Tampa's on the eve of possibly being eliminated, and I'm sure they don't feel like they've played like they deserve to be eliminated. Game 1 was an aberration, throw that away. Game 2 was about as perfect as Florida can play, and Tampa didn't quite respond. Game 3 was almost a lot more what we saw tonight, even to the effect of in Game 3, we had a 2-1 lead going in the third period, and we immediately gave up a goal and did something stupid. Where tonight, 2-1 lead for Tampa going in the third, and Mikkola gives them 5 minutes of penalties. So the fact that we killed that off, that's when I started to have hope again. When Mikkola took the 5 minutes, I'm like, series is tied. Series is tied. It just felt exactly like a repeat of Game 3. But we killed it off. We kept working. You get the goal that gets called back, and then you're like, oh, geez. And you're just watching the clock. 11, 10, 9, 8. And I'm begging, and please, Paul, don't pull Bobrovsky. please, I was begging him, don't pull Bobrovsky because we've been asked on the power play, and with Tampa's ability to get pucks on sticks, I would rather have just seen us just take our chances 5-on-5 than throw, a 6-guy out there, and then Tampa knows if they're just a little bit more aggressive, they can end the game that way. It didn't get to it, luckily. And then, so Ekblad gets the goal, and it's tied, and we're freaking out. And I don't even remember sitting back down before Jones takes the shot. And I didn't get a good look at the replay because we was all excited and everything. But I suspect that's one that Vasilevsky would like to have back. So what are we going to see Wednesday? We're going to see a really, really desperate Tampa team, obviously. I'm sure Tampa feels like they could easily be up in this series 3-1, and they kind of could be up 3-1 in this series pretty easily. It's that tight. It's that close. Panthers had a magnificent comeback tonight. But I didn't see a lot on the ice that makes me think we got this wrapped up in Tampa. I don't know if it's going to go 7, but it wouldn't shock me at this point still if it went 7. And what I talked about at the beginning of the season, or beginning of the series, Game 5, Tampa, could easily be the difference between Panthers winning a cup or not. Now, why is that? Well, if you finish it off in 5, you're done playing Wednesday. You're not going to start playing the second round until Monday, maybe even Tuesday of next week. So you get some time off. You get some recovery time. If you lose Game 5, and then somehow you lose Game 6, not only now are you back in Tampa for Game 7, but should you win that game and you go on to the next round, now you're probably looking at maybe only 2 days rest before you'd have to go to likely Toronto. Now all of that adds up over the course of a playoff history, of a playoff run, and even if we, the extra game. So what Florida was gifted tonight, and they gifted it to themselves, but they were gifted a massive opportunity that maybe when you take into consideration how we've played the last 2 games, the fact that we could eliminate Tampa on Wednesday seems a little bit too good to be true. We weren't getting any goals. Nothing good was happening. And then just all of a sudden, it just exploded to even the fact where Verhaeghe got the empty net, and hopefully that will get him going. So Tampa's going to be desperate. Now, we've been watching tit for tat in terms of the big hits and all of that. Now, nobody went after Tkachuk tonight. And it looked like it kind of had settled down and all of that, right? It kind of looked like we had a 1-0 lead. Things have settled down. And then Ekblad did what he did to Hagel, who's probably going to be out. So I would suspect maybe if Hagel is out, maybe it would be Ekblad that would be suspended and not Mikkola. Hopefully not both guys. Now, if you're a Tampa fan, I'm not going to argue with you. Yes, you could viably make an argument where both guys might actually deserve a suspension or at least a fine. But I don't think the league will suspend both of them. I just don't think they'll do it. That's not a judgment on whether or not I think each individual player would deserve one. What Mikkola did was stupid. What Ekblad did was, I want to see that a little bit more. Did he really? I know he went in with his elbow, but if you really clocked him in the jaw with the elbow, it's going to be hard to not suspend him. Now, if they suspend both of those guys, it's not fire and brimstone, because you're still going to go with Forsling and Jones, Kulikov and Schmidt, and then you'd have Balinskis, and I would suspect you'd call up Megna to play on that bottom pair. It's not optimal, but Megna especially proved to be pretty capable. He's a bigger guy, and the top 4 of Jones, Forsling, Kulikov, and Schmidt, I'm completely fine with that. You wouldn't want to go a whole playoffs with that, but for a game, I don't think either one of those pairs would be a problem. You limit the time on ice that Balinskis and Megna get. You put them in specific situations. Let Megna kill some penalties. And you might be able to get away with that if both guys were suspended. I would assume nobody would be suspended for more than 1 game. So, and now Bubba, we'll give Bubba his love. we'll give Bubba his love. He made one save there with about 8 minutes left, 7.5, 8 minutes left. That was underrated because we were all just sitting there like, we need to score, we need to score. But he kept us in this game, made a couple of saves right when we needed it. And somehow, in the space of 10 seconds, we went from this close to being 1 goal in 3 straight games, and then going back to Tampa, tied it 2 with not a lot of good vibes, to now we can eliminate Tampa and be done on Wednesday. And if Ottawa can win tomorrow night by some miracle, and we could finish up on Wednesday, we could actually be done playing before Toronto. So don't want to get too ahead of us, but now we can at least, hey, it's 3-1. So you can talk about, right? You can talk about eliminating the team now and what that would mean, because it's only the 1 game. Tampa's going to be desperate. Do I think that they're going to be ultra violent? I'm surprised they weren't tonight. Now, all that emotion and everything that Cooper let out on the bench, it didn't look good for us. You know what I mean? I really kind of felt like that was going to be some massive momentum turn in the series, because it really kind of felt like Tampa was just kind of going through the motions a little bit like in Game 2, and then Ekblad kind of woke him up with that elbow. So, wouldn't be surprised to see more stuff like that, but if Ekblad and or Mikula get suspended, that might lessen what's going to happen. So, all right. And you see, I got rewarded. In Game 3 of the Eastern Conference Finals last year after the second period, I lost it. And I mean, I lost it. Like, nothing like what you... Like if you want to see 10 to 12, whatever it was, 8, 10 minutes of just absolute F-bombs and just crazy, absurd takes, go back and watch the second period intermission segment of the recap from last year, Game 3 against the Rangers. I lost it. One dog had died. Fluffy was in the middle of dying, and I was under a lot of stress, and I let it loose. But tonight, did not do that, because we lost that game to the Rangers. Lost that game. Tonight, I bitched, but I wanted to save it. Wanted to save it on the off chance they pulled something like this, and wouldn't you know it, they even gave me a good intro out of it. Last thing real quick, I will be live tomorrow at noon. Last thing real quick, I'm this close to the Chucky puppet. Like I almost got the voice right, but I don't want to put him out too soon and not have the voice right. So I'm going to try practicing a little bit with it tomorrow, and hopefully by Wednesday. That was my planned intro for tonight, and it wasn't quite, not quite there yet with the voice. We're really close. And then with the 2 goals in 11 seconds, I figured, you know what? Let's make that the intro, because I was pissed. And then they fixed it for me, so it works out. All right, I will see you live tomorrow at noon for your therapy session. We're going to do tomorrow night. What's tomorrow? Is tomorrow Toronto and Ottawa? We're going to do at least 2 games tomorrow. We might do 3. We might do a late night tomorrow. We'll see, because this game obviously gave me energy, so we're happy. All right, Panther fans, we are 1 game away from advancing to the second round. Tampa is not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy. Vasilevsky's going to be pissed. I'll see you tomorrow at noon.